The Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office now with the news conference. Let's watch together.
Search and recovery operation is continuing, and we have had an incredible response to our mutual aid request for assistance in this search and rescue and subsequent search and recovery operation. Dive teams and Marine units from across the state, as well as our federal partners and state partners, have assisted in this effort. They have brought resources as well as technical expertise to the scene. We are in our 5th day now of this incident, and today we will have divers from the Sheriff's Dive Team, the FBI, and the National Park Service in the water once again. Their top priority today is the recovery of the remaining victim that is still outstanding, as well as evidence recovery for the ongoing investigation of the cause and origin of this fire. Today, the salvage operation of the vessel, the Conception, is underway, and Captain Rochester will share more detail about that in a moment. As the vessel is moved during the operation, our divers will search the area that has heretofore been inaccessible to them, as well as search again the vessel itself for the last victim. The ATF National Response Team has arrived and will be assisting as well. I'd like to thank ATFE Los Angeles Special Agent in Charge Carlos Canino, who will speak later in this news conference to share how his office and this special team will be assisting in this investigation. From the standpoint of the coroner's office, so far, the Sheriff's Coroner's Office has received a total of 33 of the 34 victims from the Conception. Due to the intense fire that occurred on the vessel, all of the recovered remains have suffered varying degrees of fire damage, which requires DNA analysis to confirm the identities of the victims. For the past several days, the Coroner's Office and Sheriff's investigators have worked diligently to both positively identify victims, to obtain buccal swabs for sample comparison purposes in the DNA process, and to notify the next of kin. I want to share with you the process so that you have a better understanding of the monumental task that our investigators have been facing. When this incident began, our office was presented with a manifest, a list of passengers who were on the vessel, names only, with no other supporting documentation or details immediately available. As we were able to obtain more information through the Family Assistance Center, through the call center, and through other investigative means, we have been able to contact the family and loved ones of the passengers. As of this morning, I am happy to report that we have connected with family members for all 34 victims. The last family to be contacted was the mother of one of the victims, who lives in Japan. As the DNA identification process requires, we have obtained buccal swab samples from families as a result of the assistance of the FBI field offices from throughout the United States and abroad. To give you an idea of the scope of this effort, the FBI connected with one family in Singapore, and another family flew into Santa Barbara yesterday from India. We have been assisted by a host of allied local, state, and federal colleagues. Far too many for me to name individually at this press briefing. But I do want to give special thanks to Sacramento County Coroner Kimberly Jin, who immediately responded to our request for assistance with the ANDE, the ANDE Rapid DNA System, technology that her office is trained in and used during the Camp Fire's subsequent coroner's investigation. Her staff, as well as support from the ANDE Corporation, who brought a second rapid DNA system to us from their offices in Colorado, has been invaluable in the process of rapidly identifying victims, allowing us to bring some measure of solace to some of the loved ones. The Los Angeles County Medical Examiner's Office has been a tremendous help with the coroner's investigative process as well. And I just want to give a special thanks to all of them and to all of our coroner staff and our divers who have been engaged in this terribly difficult process of recovering these victims and bringing them to the Coroner's Bureau for examination and for ultimate release to the family members. The Coroner's Office is charged with determining the cause and the manner of death. This process is ongoing, and we will not be able to make those determinations final until toxicology results are in and the investigation into the cause and origin of the fire is complete. The Sheriff's Office will not be releasing the passenger manifest in whole out of respect for the families and in order to allow our investigators to make proper next of kin notifications. However, we do intend and will release the names of victims after we have positively identified them and have notified their next of kin of that positive identification. As of this press conference, we have been able, through the DNA process, to positively identify 18 of the victims. In 9 of those cases, we have been able to contact and notify the next of kin of the victims. And those 9, I will release the names to you right now. Those victims are Raymond Scott Chan, aged 59, of Los Altos, California. Justin Carroll Dignam, 58, of Anaheim, California. Daniel Garcia, 46, of Berkeley, California. Mary Beth Guiney, 51, of Santa Monica, California. Yulia Krashenaya, 40, of Berkeley, California. Alexandra Kurtz, 26, of Santa Barbara, California. Caroline McLaughlin, 35, of Oakland, California. Ted Strom, 62, of Germantown, Tennessee. And Wei Tan, 26, of Goleta, California. This list is representative of the diverse makeup of the passengers and crew who were aboard the Conception on that fateful day. They were from our local area and from throughout California, from across the United States and from around the world. Their tragic loss has devastated countless family members, loved ones, friends, and colleagues. We mourn their loss, and we want to assure those who they leave behind that we will continue working tenaciously to recover all of the victims, to determine how they died, and to investigate the cause of this terrible fire and loss of life with the hope that future such tragedies can be prevented. And now I'd like to bring up to the podium Captain Monica Rochester of the U.S. Coast Guard.
Sheriff, I'm Captain Monica Rochester, Captain of the Port Coast Guard Los Angeles Long Beach. This past week, the Unified Command has visited with the families of the victims and have seen firsthand the impact that the tragedy has taken upon them. And our hearts and thoughts are continuing to be with them as they go through this terrible, terrible tragedy. Yesterday, the Unified Command, which consists of the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office, Santa Barbara City Fire, Santa Barbara County Fire, National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, National Park Service, National Marine Sanctuary, came together to review a salvage and recovery plan of the motor vessel Conception. This is an important step to this process, but I would like to be clear that the Coast Guard's role during this salvage and recovery operation is for the safety of those on scene during
We've been watching together the update from the Santa Barbara County Sheriff's Office there. This news conference included the investigation and how far they've come.